YouTube? It is Charles here, and like I said, every Thursday in January, we're going to be doing action figure unboxings. Now, this action figure I bought way back in November, and I've been putting it off unboxing it, waiting for the right time, and wouldn't you know it, last week, this wrestler became very relevant again in the national wrestling scene. I am talking about the WWE Mattel Elite version of Wesley, now known as Desmond and Xavier, part of the Rascals tag team. They are currently in AEW, just recently leaving TNA Wrestling. And so I figured what better time to open this up and give a little love to Desmond and Xavier. Now with AEW wrestling promotion, I prefer, so it's a win-win for me. So the way that I do these is we have a 3A system, and that system is going to talk about the appearance, the articulation, and the accessories. And that's how I grade these, give them a, try to have a little standard there. So we'll start off, just take a look at the box. I am going to trash the box. I am not a on-card collector, but let's take a look at this here. We have Wesley, first time in line, Elite Series number 94. And in this series, we actually have Edge, and he returned. We have Mace, who is also currently with AEW. We have Nash Carter, now known as Zachary Wentz, which I have in my collection right here. He is signed to AEW along with Desmond and Xavier and Myron Reed. And we have, of course, Wesley, aka Desmond and Xavier. A little retro action for the last two. Bret the Hitman Hart and Stephanie McMahon. So that's what we got in Series 94. Let's see if I can find a year on this. 2022. So not that long ago. Got it at Walmart.com. Around 14 bucks. And one thing I'm going to be interested in is, I am sure that these guys are going to get action figures from AEW and Jazzwares. So it'll be nice to get those versions compared to what we have in the collection. And also get Myron Reed in action figure form. Because while Desmond and Xavier and Zachary Wentz have been in major companies before, both Impact, WWE, and TNA, Myron Reed has not had a full-time contract with a major wrestling company. So, looking forward to that. Here we go. Got him out of the plastic there. Alright, so let's start with the appearance. Of course, the facial scan is next level. I mean, let me get a good look. Yeah. There's no mistaking who this is. I really like the beard detail and shading that they went into it. Brilliant face scan. And the hair, he has dreadlocks like myself. You can see the actual definition and separation of the dreadlocks, which is cool. And we have all of his extensive tattooing all around the torso. Very detailed. And with the hands, we have him making the Rascals signal. Or as they were known in WWE, MSK, which is something that is very interesting. We're going to take a little side journey here talking about the actual wrestlers. Now, when these guys first rose to prominence, they were a trio in Impact Wrestling called the Rascals. It was Desmond and Xavier, Zachary Wentz, and Trey Miguel. Now, when WWE wanted to hire them, Trey Miguel stayed with Impact, which him in TNA Wrestling. Then you had Desmond Xavier and Zachary Wentz going to NXT, a brand on WWE. They changed their names to, respectively, Wesley and Nash Carter. And the name of the team went from the Rascals to MSK. Now, here's where things get really interesting. Last year, about they started a working relationship between WWE and NXT. And by this time it happened, the only person that was in WWE, or yeah, working relationship between WWE and TNA. And by the time this happened, the only person still in WWE is Wes Lee. Zachary Wentz had already left and went back to TNA and started teaming with Myron Reed and Trey Miguel. So when the brands started working together, cross promoting, the whole team, including Desmond Xavier, aka Wesley, Zachary Wentz, aka Nash Carter, and Trey Miguel. And I think Myron Reed may have crossed over a couple times too. I'm not sure. But they were actually working together on NXT and TNA television, despite being in two different companies. And the interesting thing is, when you had the team of Wesley and Nash Carter, they were going by MSK. At the same time, when they worked as a trio with Trey Miguel, they were called the Rascals. So it was two different teams, two different companies, being both all at the same time, very confusing. Back to the review. Going down here, I like the shorts, the basketball style shorts. They don't hinder the movement of the knee or anything like that. You have the MSK logo on the back. You see the legs are a little bit stiff, but here we go. Got the flat black knee pads, which I think works. You don't have to have fancy coloration all over action figure. And, when you put the ring vest on this action figure, there's plenty of color. So we don't really need to get fancy with the knee pads and boots, which they did not do. So that's the appearance. I give it an A for the face scan alone. Next, we're going to talk about articulation. It's been a while since I've unboxed WWE Elite action figure, but it looks pretty standard. We have the head on the ball joint. We have up and down motion, and it goes round and round at the shoulder joint. The cut at the bicep for horizontal movement. We have double jointed pinless elbows. And then the hands are interchangeable and they spin around and around. Going to the torso is on a mid-torso rocker. The hips go all the way around. Then going down to the leg, you have the leg on a ball joint with a cut in the thigh horizontal movement. Double jointed. I think these are pinless joints. I'm having trouble getting up under the knee pad to see. Yeah, I am not seeing any pins. Yep. Double jointed pinless knees. And then we have a boot cut at the top of the boot on the calf. And we have a slight side-to-side rock motion on the ankle and back and forward. The back and forward motion is a little bit stiff on these. But as far as articulation goes, it's nothing revolutionary. I like the double jointed pinless elbows and knees, so I will give this an A-. Now to accessories, there's really not a lot to talk about. We have the interchangeable hands, we have the Rascal hand sign set of hands, and then we have the open set of hands, kind of an open fist style hands. And then we have the entrance vest with a hoodie on the back. And it is that very stiff plastic that they were using back a couple of years ago. Let's see how easy this goes on and off. Yeah, not bad, especially since we don't have sleeves to worry about. It goes on a lot easier than some of the accessories made with this plastic. I would give the accessories. Now, I know they're sparse, but hear me out. These characters really didn't have a lot of accoutrement or accessories. They had the hoodie. That's it. That's all they came to the ring with, no props. So they did right by it, and the hoodie looks brilliant. I wish it could have been maybe, I usually prefer soft goods, but when I think about it, with the aesthetic they were going for and the way that and the material the gear was actually made of, I think the heavy rubber plastic may have been the right choice so you can get that kind of shine off of it, that shine effect that matches the shorts and almost, looks like the same type of gear. Let's get him next to his tag team partner here, Nash Carter, aka Zachary Wentz. And you get to see how they line up here. He is slightly taller. These are great looking action figures, I think. And I am very excited to see what Jazzware does with these characters and what AEW will bring to the table. And get that Myron Reed, when they finally get a Myron Reed action figure, that's going to be the first of the three that I buy. I'm just being honest with you. But I really like it. I give the action figure an A. I actually even rate it higher than the Nash Carter action figure. Just on the base scan alone. Exceptional action figure. Get them while you can, because I imagine with the Rascals now being back on a major television every week, these are not going to sit on Walmart.com real cheap for long. So get it while you can. I highly suggest that along with the Nash Carter action figure. These are two outstanding figures from 2022. I wasn't liking a lot of what Mattel was doing back then, but these are an exception. So I'll see you guys next time. I'm going to get back to watching wrestling. Until then, keep buying them action figures and stay tuned for more comic book and action figure content. I'll see you next time.